Pastor Jeff here. Let's be honest with one another in this week's installment of Wednesday Encouragement. We have a greeting we love to use all the time, and it's the phrase, "How are you doing?" And generally our response is, "Fine." The reality is we respond fine, good, great even sometimes when we're really not. This pandemic has hurt us physically, but I really believe it's also hurt us mentally. The Bible actually has a lot to say about mental health, and I want to share one of my favorite verses in that regard, and it comes from 2 Corinthians chapter 10. Starting in verse 5, it says, "We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ." The context of this verse is there was a group of people in the church in Corinth who were downplaying Paul, really calling into question the things that he was saying and how he was encouraging the church. The end of this verse, though, I think is really key, and it goes beyond the context even of what Paul is talking about. Taking captive every thought and making it obedient to Christ. There's a lot goes on up here that nobody knows about but us. I believe there's often three voices going on in our head at any given moment. Ours, God's, and the enemy of our soul. We just assume that everything that goes on up there is us. But the reality is we don't have to listen to all the noise. There is often unhealthy playlists that like to circulate in our minds. This can result in a lot of negative self-talk. And the enemy loves to jump on that and tell us that we're not worth anything. So we can say, stop, take them captive and discard them so we can hear the things from God that are true and noble and just and pure and lovely and admirable, excellent and praiseworthy. Creator God loves us and cares about us. So those thoughts of you're not good enough, you can't do this, you can't handle this, whatever those are, don't line up with our Creator God. So the imagery of this verse of taking every thought captive and making it accountable to Christ is super helpful. So for our mental health, when somebody says to us, "How are you doing?" let's be honest with one another. Phone a friend and don't be scared to talk to a professional for help. It is okay to not be okay, but let's not stay there. Let's be there for one another in our time of mental need. Go in peace.